This is Josh Latta.
And this is Aaron Latta.
And you're listening to The Devil
You
You Know. And we're also having the most misogynistic, horrible fucking sex imaginable.
It's
oh my
disgusting.
God, so gross. I cannot believe what I am doing here. I must really hate women.
Hola, amigos.
Spanish again? We're gonna have to teach you some French.
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't really think of this shit ahead of time, so it's just like, hey. It starts out with that. All right, we're ready, and I'm like,
Hola.
Hello.
That's funny.
Hi there. Hello there in Radio Land. What's happening, Johnny?
None. Just chilling, talking to you.
Yeah, that's what you're doing now.
That's right.
You didn't. At least you didn't steal my speech from 2008. That's the only thing on my goddamn news feed right now.
It's crazy, man. Everybody's just
Whatever.
sampling. It's called sampling.
Yeah, right. Yeah, really. I mean, we could start blaming Milli Vanilli for the same shit, but
Yeah, they don't. Milli Vanilli doesn't sound so bad now.
oh shit.
Crazy.
So, how you doing though, man? You had a fun little trip recently, eh?
Oh, I love a good road trip, but this was like
I saw your driving video. Your video of you cussing out the traffic.
The guy was going so slow. Like,
Yeah.
I just want, you know when you're on your way home on the road trip, you just want to get home.
Just want to go.
Yeah. I mean, when you go in there, it's all like, yeah, 99 bottles of beer on the wall, But then you fucking get, you want to get home. You're like, get the fuck out of the way. But yeah, it was fun. It was a good trip, man. We went up to Magna, Utah, or Salt Lake City, actually. That's where the hotel was. But next town, a couple towns over, Magna and West Valley. Went to see Storm and Renee Anderson and film a little mini short documentary thing for their Halloween and Summer Festival.
How was it?
Oh, awesome. Like, it's just, it's amazing the work that they've done. It's really cool to see it in action, because I remember, you probably remember too, them at the 50th anniversary, them talking about it and everything. So it was cool to actually be there and see it firsthand. So,
and was it a lot of people? Pretty good turnout for it?
I think he said over the course of the day, 20,000.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. And then on our downtime, which we didn't have much, but because we drove, I think we left here Thursday in the afternoon and drove straight through the night, got there early Friday morning, right to Storm and Renee's house. Didn't even check in the hotel yet. Unpacked, equipment, filmed their own personal little interview parts, then took off to the hotel and got some sleep. I think an hour and a half of sleep, and then met them back over. Oh no, we went to Adam Campbell's house for a while. Had dinner over there, hung out for a while, trying some of his homebrewed beers and
You didn't eat anything from his garden, did you? Because he's a little crazy about that shit.
No, but I did actually get to see it, and he's got chickens, man. He's got some chickens in the yard.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Right.
So he picked one up. He was choking it.
I was gonna say, like with them anger issues and chickens, it's bound to happen. It's gonna choke that chicken.
Everybody says anger issues too. They all think he rages out. I mean, it's weird. I call it passion issues. He has passion issues.
Right, of course, yeah. I remember his road rage segment. It was all passion.
It's very passionate. But it's awesome.
Does he live pretty close to where Storm's event was?
No, not too close. Maybe 15, 20, 22 minutes away, something like that. 20 minutes away at least.
Oh, so I mean that's close to me.
Yeah.
He doesn't live 3 hours away or anything.
No. There's everything from the hotel to Storm and Renee was, I think, 24 minutes, and then from the hotel to Adam was 22 minutes or something. But they're different, and then They were about 20 minutes apart, something like that. So it's like a big 20-minute triangle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
So yeah, it was pretty
Very-
cool. Yeah,
So,
good
yeah,
times,
good
man.
trip,
Then
then.
we went back over there. Then Storm was dressed up as Storm Von Ghoul, and he was giving the announcement of the creature feature, which is pretty much like a movie. They were showing what was it? Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, I think it was, if I remember correctly. And just had a bunch of people just sitting all around the park, just loving it and watching it and stuff. Got some footage of that. Went back to Adams for a while after that again, and pretty.
You
late.
guys sent me a video on my text. I should play the audio, but I could hardly hear it myself. But it's something about I don't know, Adam not wanting to fuck me anymore because he wants to fuck you now. Something like that. I think because your nose is bigger.
His
Although I
nose
don't
is
know.
bigger. Mine's small.
Oh, so. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, because that
don't know.
means his penis is larger than mine.
So then, why does he want to? I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. He was getting into socks and stuff.
He's just tired. He's just tired of hitting on me and getting no response. He knows that he'll get more response from you.
Yeah, since I'm sitting right in the room. Yeah. No, his beer though, dude. Amazing. Really,
Is it?
really good. I got lit. Marlene got really lit. It was just awesome. And
So Adam
wines,
sent me some, you dick. Damn.
right? I know his wine. We got to take a couple bottles home, and I got a Pinot and a red, really nice red, dark red Zinfandel. Really good.
Yeah.
Real good. So
This is his own wine too.
yeah, he makes his own wine and has his own beer and everything.
Is it like an Anger Orchard kind of?
No, it's Passion Orchard. It's Passion Orchard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good though. Had a great time. They had a little after party thing. Got some footage of that, and I think we're good. I think we're gonna
Right on.
put forth a little cool little thing for him.
Right on. Look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, it's like a little teaser thing, like a little documentary / teaser thing on what they do, and I'm proud of them, man. I think they've done it all by themselves, and they're just looked at as little like king and queen of Magna, man.
Yeah, that's cool.
kinda cool.
Very cool.
So how about you? What'd you do this weekend?
Nothing that cool, man. I worked.
I know.
That's about it. That's what I did.
Oh, I don't know. I forgot to mention the drive back was because I forgot to mention this. On the drive up, we left in the afternoon, so by the time we got to northern Arizona, it's pitch black out. It's dark, So as we're going into Utah, I see the road. Luckily, that's about it. And we took the same way back, which is not major highways. You have to go on these. You got to go like all these different back roads before you get on another major highway. So on the way back, it was daytime, and it was like, holy shit, like beautiful views, man. We are so high up, like 6,200 feet up, and you could see all the way down to the bottom. Like, we crossed the Grand Canyon over some dam, Glen Canyon Dam or something. So a little piece of it, but it still was, magnificent looking, and just all this stuff. We saw a fire going on. It was crazy, man. Just beautiful looking stuff, man.
Yeah.
Really good.
Oh, that can make the ride much better.
Yeah, there's like a little, I can't remember the name of it though. It's just where northern Arizona is and where it meets Utah. There's a just all this land that's just, I think it's near Glen Canyon. It might be near there, Lake Powell area or something. There's all this land that just looks otherworldly. You know what I mean? So
I don't know.
it's like a perfect looking place to film like a sci-fi movie or something. So we're thinking we might do something like that. It's just so cool looking up there.
Enemy Mine Part 2.
Yo, Mickey Mouse. Yeah. Stupid. It's so funny.
Good.
I love that.
All right.
Cool. Let's get this show started.
Okay.
And now you're drunk.
She gives him his number, Dorian. The waitress. It says 8675309. we were busting his balls the whole night about it. So I'm like, you should call her, dude. Call her right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Her name's
man.
Jenny, right?
Dude, this guy was sitting there in his chair, right? And she was like other end of the bar, and he's like, Sarah, when you get off work, Sarah, and he's like sloshing his beer mug around. It's like, oh shit, you weren't supposed to hear that.
He was just so drunk.
All right, John. So, episode 38. It's time to get back to talking to some fellow members of the Church of Satan. Who we got this week?
We've got Satanist Matt M.R. Stover, everyone. Yeah! How's it going, dude?
Hey, pretty good. How are you guys?
What's happening, man?
I'm amazing.
Nothing a whole lot. Not a lot, man. Drinking beer.
Sweating balls in Arizona?
Yeah, dude. It's fucking hot down here.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
I'm not jealous of you guys. You know, I mean, we got the ocean here, so it's still, you know, we get in the 90s, but still, it's you get that ocean breeze going. It's all right. So.
Oh, those double
Cool your
digits.
balls right off.
I miss those double digits.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So Matt, you are a writer.
I am.
That's the rumor.
That's the rumor. Rumor is true for the most
Tell
part.
us about your writing capabilities, sir. What kind of what genres you prefer? That sort of thing. What got you into it? And what you do?
I do dark fantasy, dark fiction. Primarily, my primary series that I'm writing is dark fantasy, kind of a sword and sorcery type of deal, set in a world called Apal, with people of an empire that is partially merged with the underworld. And the premise of my series is, the beginning of it at least, is my book, The 13 Nights of Death, which I published up to chapter 4 and will be publishing through Dark Moon Press when I finish it in another year or so. But it's essentially what it is an empire called Glom invades Apal, and it goes through their struggles of repelling the invasion and striking back at them, and there's lots of blood and sex and violence and torture and all kinds of crazy shit.
Sounds like the Bible.
It is. It's kind of like the Bible.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing this?
I've been writing for about 14 or 15 years now. I've been published since 2014. My first one was in The Nightmare Engine, run by Michael K. Silva, who I haven't heard from in a while. He's out there somewhere. And I published a story called Therianthrope, which is my dark fiction kind of comic book-esque guy named Jacob Yash. Essentially, Jacob Yash is a man who made a deal with the devil to seek revenge upon the people who killed his family in the 1300s, and he essentially becomes the devil's hitman and progresses his way up from killing other humans to supernatural creatures. And in Therianthrope, he fights a werewolf named Aonexus, and you can actually listen to this production on the Satanic Player Society, run by Colin Martin and done by a couple of our fellow Satanists in a voice acting group, and it's about 34 minutes long, and it's a pretty good production.
Sweet.
Right on. Very cool. So, what kind of writing do you? What kind of books do you like to read? What inspires you to write in this genre?
I started off reading a lot of just fantasy type stuff and horror fiction.
Tolkien,
like I read.
kind of?
What's that?
You get some like Tolkien, that kind of background.
A little bit. Like, Tolkien. I actually haven't read the entire series of Tolkien yet, but I've read a lot of other stuff in the genre. Fantasy primarily. A lot of horror, like Anne Rice. I read a lot of Anne Rice. A lot of George R.R. Martin and Glenn Cook, Raymond E. Feist. Recently, a couple years ago, I got into Stephen King, Bentley Little, and the guy who writes the Dresden Files. That guy. You know who I'm talking about, right?
I know the Rockford Files.
Yeah, it's different.
I know the X-Files.
The X-Files.
Yep.
What the hell is his name?
I knew a guy named Peter File.
Jim Butcher. That's who it is. Jim Butcher.
I'm Peter File.
I had to fucking get up and look.
You ever read anything by LaVey?
Yeah, I've read a lot of stuff by LaVey. A little bit by Gilmore and some by Barton.
Good man.
Yeah. So, definitely up there with my my top favorite authors.
You got something big coming out that you've been writing?
My book, The 13 Nights of Death. Once it's done, I'm gonna go through Eric Werner and publish it on Dark Moon Press.
Nice.
I've written the rough drafts up until 7 out of 13 chapters. I'm about to finish the editing process on chapter 5 and publish that. And after that, I've got 6 coming along, right along behind that. And then I have a bunch of other smaller projects that are kind of out there. Some in Infernal Ink, some up and coming in Infernal Ink. I have October 2014's Halloween issue of Old Nick magazine. I have a story in there called Spirits. Nobody should read that, really. It's horrible. And
I have a question. I have a question about what you were just talking about, your upcoming book. You said that you've written the outline for 7 chapters of 13 chapters.
Yeah.
My question is, and everybody writes different, so I'm curious why. Why you? I mean, did you decide on like for me? I couldn't decide on until I had the entire outline done. I couldn't decide on the number of chapters.
Yeah.
It has to be, so how do you decide? It can only go to a certain number of chapters.
What I essentially did was my fantasy series I've been writing for the last 14 years. I have stacks and stacks of handwritten notebook paper of a good majority of the 14 to 16 books that are going to be in the series. And I wrote and I wrote a book called The Knights of Oz and Crew. And I went through a few mainstream publishing companies to try to get it published. And while I was waiting for that to be approved or denied, I started writing a prequel book called The 13 Nights of Death. And in The Knights of Oz and Crew, which is the second book now, there are 13 members of a company who go around enforcing Apollyon law, like they hunt down lawbreakers or repel invaders or hunt down people to kill who broken Apollyon laws, loosely based off the Order of the Dragon in Romania during Vlad Tepes' time. So there's 13 members in the company that makes up these 13 Nights of Death and the specific military order of the God of Death and Apoll. So
it's sort of your magic number for the...
Yeah, so what I wanted to do was I wanted to write a different chapter from each member's perspective. So that's why there's 13 chapters in that one, and then the rest of the series kind of devolves into 20 or 30 chapters or however long it takes to tell the story. But 13 was the preliminary number that I had for the 13 Nights of Death.
Gotcha. Understood.
Yeah. Knights with a K, though, right?
Knights with a K.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, rumor has it that you, for a living, you are a correctional officer.
I am a correctional officer. For the last 10 years, I've been a correctional officer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Correctional skulls?
Yeah, I guess so. Unofficially.
You must have some good stories.
And officially. I worked in the behavioral health ward for 2.5 years, and I've never seen anything like that in my entire life. I will take those experiences to my deathbed. I've seen some weird shit.
Oh, now you have to tell us.
Yeah, I think one of the weirdest ones I've seen. This guy came in off the streets. He got released from prison. He came back as a parole violator, and he was just higher than a kite. He went out there and drank and did all the drugs he could find, and he already had a plate in his head and some crazy manic disorder anyways. So he came back into our mental health ward just completely out of his mind. And if they stand up for too long, because you can't get them to sit down no matter what you do. If these guys are going through a manic episode, they're on their feet 24/7, throwing their sack lunch against the wall and screaming at the window. And you can't get them to shut up. You can't get them to sit down for anything. And essentially what happens is
That's funny.
Their legs start to swell up. And then their thighs start to swell up because of the fluid retention or the fluids that are in the body because they don't sit the fuck down. And this guy, we gave him a shower. So we put him in the shower. And he's standing in the shower and he's hopping around the shower with this wet towel, slapping it against the walls, singing in the rain, and that fluid has gone up to his testicles and made them swell up to the size of like a football.
He had elephantitis?
It was like elephantitis. I mean, it was just a swelling of the lower appendages, and his nutsack looked like a fucking football.
Wow, that's weird.
My God.
I'm gonna have to try that.
Right? But
Need all the help I can get.
all you got to do is just stand up and jump around and scream nonsensical whatever at the wall and be awake for like
I love
2 or 3
cheesecake.
weeks at a time. Yeah, I mean, you can yell I love cheesecake or sing a song and gesture with your double broken finger. You can yell at the ventilation system. That's a favorite of mine. I always like the guys
Better
who yell at
to
the ventilation system.
Rather inflate the Frank than the beans, though. I mean, that's
Well, the Frank kind of turned into an innie.
How'd you get the beans above the Frank?
It was like the beans were like engulfing the Frank. Like there was not much Frank left. In fact, Frank was kind of like in the belly button by that point in time.
that sounds terrible.
Yeah,
I hate when that happens.
I went down there. I went down to the mental health ward.
Wait. You would? Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I had to go work down there. I didn't go down there, but I had to go work down there.
Yeah.
I had to sit on a continuous watch, guy who was crazy or whatever, and just stare at him all night long. And the guy that was in the cell right next to my head, he just screamed at me all night long and kicked the door. And then he started talking shit to me, and I was like, "Are you talking to me?" And then he starts hissing at me like a snake for like an hour, just hissing
I'm
at
a
me.
snake.
And I was like, "That's a new one. I haven't had anybody hiss at me before, but that's a different one."
Is it all guys?
Yeah, they're all men. All men.
Women don't go crazy?
They do, but not in the facility that I work at now.
Just in the bedroom.
Yeah,
Just in the bedroom.
Nice. So
Yeah.
so give
Do
us
they
some.
try to bribe you a lot?
Oh, sorry.
Like, try to get you to bring stuff in for them or take stuff out?
I think they've tried before, but
Hey, buddy,
they
you
don't.
got any bolt cutters?
Yeah, buddy. Bolt cutters.
Put a file in the cake.
Most of them don't really want to talk to you, anyways. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been an interesting riot. I've been in riots. I've been in a lot of fights. I've gotten the shit kicked out of me at least once. I've probably pepper sprayed. I don't even know how many people.
That's awesome. We all need a good ass whooping every once in a while.
Yeah,
Yeah. Wow. What was the most scariest time for you?
I think the scariest time was when I was in this big brawl in one of the housing units. It was me and about 6 or 7 other officers, and we went in there to try to talk to these inmates who didn't want to lock down. They didn't want to go back in their cells.
No.
And they were in the day room, and they had surrounded the edges of the day room. And we went in there and we tried to talk to them. And my supervisor was like, "All right, well, you guys need to lock down." And they said no. So he's like, "All right, guys, I guess just cuff them up." And I went to go cuff up the guy that was in front of me, and he turned around and started punching me. And I didn't know that somebody had already hit me from behind. And I kind of went out and then came to, and then saw that the guy was punching me in the face, so I hit him back. And then next thing I knew, I woke up I was on the ground, and this dude that I was fighting with was laying on his stomach. So I roll over on top of him to handcuff him and realized that I was bleeding from my mouth and my nose and my eyebrow. So I cuffed this dude up, and I got up and saw this other inmate go flying against the water fountain because one of my other officers football kicked this guy. And he grabbed me. He's like, dude, you got to get out of here. I'm like, no, dude, I'm fine. I just got punched. He's like, no, you didn't. You got kicked. You got to go. Like, we got to go now.
Wow.
I was like, I'm good, dude. I just got punched, man. I've been punched in the face before. It's no big deal. He's like, no, you got to go. And then by the time I got up to medical, I realized there's one of these guys or more of these guys or how many of our inmates, they just had a boot party on my face.
Oh,
Wow.
shit.
Yeah. So that was a trying time. It was probably my third year in the department, I think.
That explains a lot.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Damn,
that's
man.
crazy
Well,
though,
the
dude.
thing is that I didn't even know what incited it. I was gone for 3.5 weeks with my second kid when she was born. So I was only back on shift for a day and 20 minutes, for 8 hours and 20 minutes, and this shit went down. I have no idea, even to this day, what started it. I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. It happens. It's just the environment.
Black Lives Matter, man.
Huh.
But who knows,
Yeah.
Just happens. Wow, that's
It
crazy.
just happens.
What was the tell us about maybe the funniest thing you've seen in there? Like,
The funniest thing, just these guys that were in the behavioral health ward, they're just completely out of their mind sometimes. And you bring them in not knowing what to expect, and you just get... I had a guy, this one guy, I remember this guy pretty distinctly. There's these big stainless steel toilets in the cells with a sink on top. And this guy was on top of his sink, jabbing his dick into the sink part, slapping it, and calling it dirty names like, yeah, you like that bitch, and started slapping, spanking it, and all kinds of shit. That was pretty crazy. I think that was probably one of the funniest things I'd seen.
did he finish?
I don't know if he did. If he did, it must have been pretty brutal because that's a stainless.
If not, it would have
steel
been all done in vain,
Yeah, I mean, he was at it for a long time too. He was.
Done
I mean,
on his
everybody's
own.
got different needs,
He,
but
he
wow.
was getting down, man. He was really getting down.
So he'll fuck anything and the kitchen sink.
And the kitchen sink.
Yeah,
That's nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
maybe even preferably the kitchen sink.
You know what? It's a little bit more
Kitchen
resilient.
sink might be a bad idea with the modern garbage disposals. But,
Well, kitchen sink. Maybe it's porcelain. Maybe it's not. This is
Yeah.
stainless steel,
It is
bolted
now.
to the wall, type of shit.
yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
Stainless steel's got a smoother feel to it, or I don't know.
I don't know, man. I mean, he was really getting down. Like he was,
That's
he
nice.
was serious about this shit.
Damn.
Like you could hear like 70s porn music in the background somewhere.
There might as well have been. He might have had a porn stash and everything.
Crazy.
And then the doctor saw him and he's like, "This guy needs to go on a 10-minute watch, not a 30-minute watch. This guy's batshit crazy." We're like, "Thanks,
Yeah.
doc.
Wow.
Thanks. We knew that."
Yeah, shit. Now, how long have you been involved with how long have you been a correctional officer?
I've been a correctional officer going on 10 years. I started in December 17th of 2006, so I've about hit my 10 years. I've done 6 years on day shift, 2 years on swing shift, and I've done the last 2.5 or so, 2 or more, on a graveyard shift by choice. It's just a easier shift to work. There's a lot less activity.
Does any coworkers know about your affiliation with COS?
Yeah, some of them do. It's kind of an open secret. It's on my Facebook. If they're on my Facebook, they can put 2 and 2 together. They do. I've had a few people approach me about it. Most people just most of my coworkers who do know, they just kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever. You're a Satanist. That's great. you're pretty weird anyway, so didn't really expect much else from you.
You take a lot of boots to the face, so whatever.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
That's awesome.
I had years
At least you're not trying to fuck a
spraying-
sink.
Right? Try not to fuck a kitchen sink. 'Cause it happens. I've seen it happen.
Wow. How does he fit it in the drain?
I don't know. There was like a
Just a
grate on the
tip.
drain. I think he was just jabbing it in there, like just
Oh.
dry humping it.
Ow.
Just nothing but skin on steel. Nothing gets better than that.
Skin
Right?
on steel on anger.
And he was really angry. Like he was really hitting this.
He
he was going-
fucking the sink.
He was going to town, man.
Damn.
And the funniest thing was he was spanking it and talking dirty to it. That was probably the best part.
The sink?
The sink, yeah.
Spanking the sink?
He was spanking the sink and,
Wow.
and talking dirty to it.
Open your little whore mouth. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, basically, that was pretty much what he was doing.
Ah, shit. You're like,
This has only driven me more insane than I already was before.
oh, great. That's crazy stuff. So,
Yeah,
I mean, most of the time it's just drugs, right? I mean, or are they just totally like something not wired right?
most of the time it's drugs.
Yeah.
That spice really fucks people up. Like,
What's
I don't know.
spice?
it's supposed to be some kind of synthetic pot that's made out of all kinds of legal chemicals made into a substance that you can buy at any smoke shop.
Why would you want to make something
not talking about
synthetic out of
stuff in the
something
movie.
natural?
No, it's
You're
not
not
natural.
talking about June then, right?
But it can get into the complex because it can't be detected by the drug dogs. So these guys like smoke the shit out of it, and then they wake up 8 days later in the mental health ward going, "Oh shit, I'm in here." You're like, "Yeah,
I
dude,
wonder how they
yeah,
got it in.
Yeah, how don't they get it in?
It's in the sink.
Yeah.
That's why.
It's in the sink, and the only way to get it out is if you rub
Smack
your
it
penis
and talk dirty to it.
and smack it, and talk dirty to
Come
it.
on, give up your spice.
Yeah, but these guys are like,
Whose spice is this?
yeah, and it really fucks people up. Like I've known guys that were on spice because I stopped working in the mental health facility a little bit before spice really hit the yards, but these guys were like getting high and like trying to climb the razor wire because they thought there was like a frog on the other side or something. Like I'm not even kidding. Like they're just like, oh, time to climb the razor wire, and then they wind up in the mental health ward on a continuous suicide watch, and they'd spend the rest of the day
That's what's happening next.
having a very animated conversation with their toilet while completely naked.
Fuck, dude, that's so awesome. You need to write a book about that.
I've been thinking about it. I've got a lot of
Oh, yeah.
just weird shit that I've seen over the years.
People will eat that shit up. They'll eat those
Yeah.
kind of stories up, definitely, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So is it spice anything like bath salts, or what is that?
I'm sure it's got bath salts in it and like Drano and rat poison and who knows what, man. I don't even know what's in that shit. I just know that if they get a bad batch, they go completely batshit.
Wow.
They
Yeah,
ride the giant worm when they get the spice.
might as well, man. I don't know what they do.
Why can't they just enjoy a cold beer or a glass of wine? I don't understand it.
I mean, they do.
Cold
It's-
beer in prison?
It's not
Yeah.
beer. It's made out of ketchup and potatoes, maybe.
Oh,
Stolen sugar from the kitchen. I mean, I don't know.
Wow.
Maybe you'll get botulism and be paralyzed for the next year and a half because I've seen that happen too.
Good times. Yeah.
Yeah, this guy, he was like completely, utterly healthy. Like he'd strap a piece of fence to his back and like grate the rec field with it by jogging. And he was drinking this homemade brew, and all of a sudden he just got botulism and wound up in a wheelchair.
oh my God.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
His last name isn't Ironside, is it?
No.
There's like 4 people that are going to get that.
What a weird. Yeah, that goes with my Rockford Files joke earlier. Yeah, prison is where, I mean, like, some of the stuff they come up with, but like, I'm sure you guys have heard of like the guys that they call it tattooing their eyeballs, but it's actually an injection. And
Yeah.
some genius in prison decided to do that. That's how it got figured out. And they just come up with some weird ideas. I mean, I guess if you got nothing to do but stare at the walls for 24 hours a day.
Yeah, I mean, and your tattoos come with a healthy dose of hepatitis C.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I don't think that at all.
Yeah, I mean, you see some pretty good artwork in there, and then you see some guys dying of hep C when they're 30.
Yeah.
Wow.
They got a lot of tattoos though.
Yeah.
Or maybe they don't have tattoos.
Wow, that's just crazy.
Yeah, but they got a lot of time to just think about shit.
You think it works? I mean, like, just from on a personal note, like, do you think that the whole correctional, the whole system, do you think it actually rehabilitates anyone?
Personally, not really. No, they could do better. They could, in my opinion, if they took the people who were violent offenders, somebody who put somebody else's life in danger, and if they took those guys and locked them up, and they took the guys who have addiction problems or minor whatevers and found some other way to either do house arrest or do some kind of rehabilitation program or let them work or something else. I mean, it might be better for our society as a whole instead of just locking them away for 2.5 years. Because you got a guy who goes in for shoplifting a candy bar at Walmart 5 years ago, spends 2.5 years in the joint and comes back out with a felony record, and he has nothing else. He knows nothing else but that lifestyle now.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he's lucky if he can get out of it, or if he can find a job, or if he knows somebody and is able to have the right opportunities to do something else. But it's usually just not the case.
Wow.
Yeah. If they did something different with the majority of the people that they incarcerate, like a rehabilitation program or like some other kind of work-related, skill sets. I mean, they do that, and they do have a pretty good educational program for what it's worth, and they offer college courses and stuff like that. But not everybody's going to take advantage of it. Not everybody's going to go through it.
I always wonder, like if like fear would work on a society in general. Like if you took, the idea of somebody steals, chop off their hand, would that make more, it
would probably make people a lot more aware of what they're thinking about doing or what they're going to do.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you obviously see these guys when they go in and versus when they've been there for a while. I mean, is fear a motivator for these guys? Because how long is it before they're like, oh, this ain't so bad in here?
It's usually, it depends. It really does. It kind of goes in with the prison gangs. You have your Aryan Brotherhood, your, Mexican Mafia, and so on and so forth. And they used to have guys who would run their race or run their people. And, they ruled by knocking heads around, you don't do what you're told. You don't follow the rules. Tell you once. Second time, you get kicked in the nuts. And the third time, people who are not your friends get to kick you in the nuts. And kind of puts most people straight. But it depends on the yard. It depends on the custody level. It depends on the sentence. It depends on how much time they have in. How much
depends on how good looking they are. Yeah.
It depends on how good looking they are.
I read that. I read about that.
Yeah.
Don't get a tattoo of a naked lady on your back.
Oh.
You know what? There's a lot of tattooed naked ladies on people's backs.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Right.
So, Matt, tell us about you growing up. What was your life like? Your family life? Where you're from?
I'm from a small mining town in not northern Arizona, but about an hour out of Tucson. Just mining town, not really too special. Kind of.
Were you born a poor black
boy?
I was born just like Dorian said. There wasn't really much else to do but skateboard and screw around, and wasn't very good at skateboarding.
Smoke spice, yeah.
Smoke spice and run your friend off the side of the basketball court with a shopping cart.
Hell yeah, man.
Right?
Those were the days.
Really, not really. Just kind of an average growing up. Nothing too special about it.
Alrighty.
How'd you-
How's your family, like, religious or anything?
No, not really. My mom's side of the family's Catholic, but they weren't so Catholic that it was really anything too big of a deal. I went through the religious thing for a couple of years until I decided that it wasn't for me. And my dad's side of the family is kind of, don't treat people like shit. And that's kind of our religious ideal.
Right.
Yeah. Don't be a dickhead. So everything was kind of open. Didn't really have a whole lot of restrictions. Growing up, kind of came into Satanism about when I think I was introduced to it maybe about 14 or 15. Seen a copy of the book on the shelf and read an article on religionstolerance.com about Satanism and LaVey, and saw an article in Maxim or FHM or something like that about nude altars, which pretty much got my attention right away. And then I kind of put it on the back burner, went through the occult scene for a little bit, kind of played around with that for a couple years, then picked up the book Satan Speaks, and I was like, man, this Anton LaVey guy's fucking hilarious. This guy's really funny. So I went and picked up a copy of the Satanic Bible, and I was like, wow, that's cliche. Looking in a mirror. And the rest is pretty much history. I joined the church in, I think, 2003, and I've been a member, just a regular, card-carrying member until 2014, and 15 I got my active membership application approved, and, that's where I stand right now.
Right on.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right.
You're like, all right.
Yeah. You didn't give us a chance to ask all the little stuff, so.
Yeah, I kind of know. I know where this is going. I know where this is going. Now we're gonna go have sex with our toilets. Right?
Well, what did we learn? We learned that nude altars were way better. Nude altars are way better than sinks. So,
dude, no way. I don't know, man. That's a hard one. That's a real hard one.
Not when you're on the spice.
Not when you're on the spice and everything else that guy was on.
I just can't get that out of my head, and I want to so bad.
Just grating your the head of your dick against this stainless steel grate, slapping the toilet, calling it dirty names. I mean, what's better than that?
What is Dorian saying? It's on a subliminal level. I can't make it out.
I was just saying, yeah, take that, you dirty sink, you whore.
It was like that. It was pretty explicit, pretty graphic. But it was one of those things where you go down there and you've seen all kinds of crazy shit already. You're like, oh, that's a new one. I'll put that in the memory bank of something I haven't seen before, but now have seen.
Write that book, man. Write that book.
I've just never had anybody hiss at me before, like a snake, like that, for like an hour. But this guy was hissing at me. And I was like, dude, are you hissing at me? He just kept hissing at me. All right, that's cool.
Should have hissed back. That would have been interesting to see, like, his response if you just, like, stared at him dead in the eye and,
Hey, dude, he didn't even know. He didn't even know I was there. Besides the person he was hissing at.
Yeah,
That guy
cool
was
if
on another
you out-hissed him.
You need a lot of drugs to out-hiss some of these guys. A lot of drugs.
Damn. So, do you ever try to make money on the side by helping him bring it in, or what?
No, hell no. Yeah.
Fuck. That's funny.
No.
Yeah, no. That's crazy. Well, I think it was cool, man. I mean, that's fucking awesome. So, what do you got? You got 2 kids, right?
I have 2 kids. Yep. I have 2 daughters, a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old.
Nice.
Yeah.
Girls are so much easier, aren't they?
I guess so. I've never had boys before.
Me neither.
You know what? I know that, but you know what? Everyone I know with boys, like, even when they're, especially when they're young, they're just like destroy everything. And girls definitely seem smoother.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. My kid's kind of a little destructive for a little while. They're more content to color and draw and do other things now, but when they were younger, They were on a warpath.
That's awesome.
Right?
Well, I think we're going to ask you the question we ask everyone.
Okay.
You probably prepared yourself for this.
I've thought about it before.
Okay, what does Satan mean to you?
Satan means to me, it's like the dark carnal force, like the encompassing of that vital existence of life that makes us do the things we do, makes us grow and succeed and strive to be better and more productive and just live life to the fullest.
Very cool.
All right.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So where's the best place for people to find your work, sir?
Oh, let's see here. I'm on Facebook under M.R. Stover. It has links to all of my published work. And then I'm on Facebook also as in the Writings of M.R. Stover, which is kind of like my unofficial blog group, kind of post updates and pictures of what I'm working on and kind of keep everybody who follows me in the loop of what I'm doing. And you can find a lot of my work on the podcast Satanic Storytime. Me and Aaron have done a lot of work together. And you can find a few pieces of my writing in the Satanic Player Society. More to come up, done by various wonderful members of the Church of Satan doing voice acting. You see, I'm in an Infernal Link once, and in another coming up again this year. I'm in Old Nick Magazine. I've done The Ladies and Gentlemen of Horror in 2015 with Robert and David. And
Geez, take a breath.
right, I'm
Spank
trying to
that
think. It's hard to remember exactly all that I've done because it's just here and there.
Yeah.
I've done work for Michael K. Silva and the Nightmare Engine. I've published a lot of stuff on Amazon under my own personal page on Amazon. Works that I've done that I published myself.
That's all under M.R. Stover, right?
Yeah, it's all under M.R. Stover. If you look up M.R. Stover on Amazon, you'll find
I do
digital
that too.
and print copies.
Why do we? I do the same thing when I write something. I use my first two initials. Why do we do that? Is it
I don't know.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, I think it sounds
More
cool.
distinguished. Yeah.
So what's the R stand for?
Ryan.
Ryan.
Yeah,
Do people look at M.R. Stover and go, "Oh, Mr. Stover"?
they do,
Of course.
and it's kind of cool that it played out like that.
Mr. Stover.
It's
better-
memorable.
It's better than Mr. Sinker.
Mr. Sinker, Mr.
At
Jab
this
my
point.
bare cock into the stainless steel sink over and over and over again.
I can't get it out of my head. It's so fucked.
Hate fuck the appliances.
It's just fucked up, man.
It's a good thing there was no light sockets in there.
Oh.
Man, that place is just. It's, I could keep going on and on. Trust me.
I wonder if he talked to his friends about that sink later. Like, yeah, man, she was so wet.
He might have been. I mean, if he turned the water on, I mean, who's to say?
That's what I'm saying.
And there's hot and cold water, so there's a variety. It's like one of those
Like a
for
different
him
sink every night.
for the sink lubrication sources.
Water doesn't do it, man. You gotta get.
Isn't hers? I mean, he had something going on, man.
Well, yeah, you could say water wouldn't do it, but why would a sink do it? I mean, this guy's on a different level than us, John.
He's on a
Maybe he squirted some of the soap in there. That would do it.
different planet entirely.
Maybe he jammed a fleshlight down the sink.
Yeah,
Right.
and he was trying to get to it through the metal grating in the drain hole.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
won't fit. I've tried it. I mean, I heard about a guy trying it.
I mean, it scrapes a little bit and kind of pinches at first, but you'll get used to it.
Got to build up the calluses first, right?
Oh,
You got to do it one way or another.
well, Matt, you are now a devil we know.
On down the train.
Seriously, though, we want to thank you for coming on, man. It was awesome.
All right, guys, it was good talking to you.
Until next time, hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
Ilse.